Hi everyone, I'm Tabitha. I'm probably going to regret this video, but today we're talking about controversy. So here's the idea behind this video today. You probably already know, if you've spent any time in the online writing community or bookish community, that book-related controversies are huge. People on the writing community on Twitter regularly get in arguments about all kinds of things. So I normally stay totally out of them. My philosophy is kind of, you do you. So today we're doing the opposite of that. I've taken 16 controversies that were suggested by you and thrown them in a what's probably appropriate Scotch glass here. And I'm going to just pull out one controversy and give my opinion on it. No holding back. And now, since I already know what the 16 are because I put them in here, I can tell you that some of the controversies you brought up are pretty old, and so I might not have as much to say about them. Some of them are kind of new. I'm opinionated on all of them, but my opinions are definitely stronger on some than others. So I don't know how many I'll pull. I'm thinking maybe about 5. If I get too uncomfortable or if I feel like it's gone too long, we'll just cut it off. So you know, if you'd like to participate, there's many ways for you to do it. If you're opinionated about one of the ones I pull, please drop your comment. I would love to hear it. You can be salty or not. It's your call. If you have a YouTube channel and you feel like you're kind of opinionated, or like me, you've sort of stayed out of it, I will put all 16 topics that the writing community gave me in the description, and you're more than willing to recreate the same video on your own. Just let me know you did it so I can make sure to check out your opinions. I should mention, my opinions are my opinions, and they are not an attack on your opinion or you if you hold the other opinion. I am certainly a very open person, and I'm okay with listening to both sides. I think that's why I'm okay with doing this video. But if you feel like you've been offended by something that I say, I'm sorry, that wasn't my intention. Okay, let's do it. Okay, let's choose a topic. Editors. So before I started paying attention to the writing community, I had no idea that having an editor was a controversial thing. But pretty recently, within the last month on Twitter, and I think it started in the indie writing community, which you know I'm also a proud member of, the indie writing community started this whole argument about whether or not you truly need an editor. Apparently, there's an entire set of beliefs that people who think that it's okay if your book's good enough, or you like it, or you ran it through Grammarly, or you ran a writing check or something like that, that means it's perfectly fine and throw it out there. And then, of course, there's the other side of Twitter, some of whom are editors, who feel like you should never do that. You should take a book and send it to a professional editor. Look, I get both sides of this. On the one hand, an editor can be expensive, and I get that there are programs and software out there that can do it for you, and I definitely think it's a cost up front, and I can see why people don't do it. But today's about giving my opinion, which is not something I'm generally uncomfortable doing. In my opinion, we need editors, folks. We need editors. We need somebody who specializes in things we are not specialists in, to get their eyes on that document looking for things we may not be thinking of. I can't help it. When I read my story, I'm looking for story arcs. I'm looking for character arcs. I'm looking for the way this felt, the way this played through. I'm not looking for commas. It turns out that's my weakness, by the way. So, am I on the editing controversy? I'm team editor, friends. If you can find a way to save up the money to get yourself an editor, do it. There are inexpensive ones out there. There are people out there who will help you, but you need it. I'm team editor. Yep, that's where I'm going. Okay, let's pull another one. This is an old one. When I wrote this one, I thought, we're still talking about this? But all right, let's do it. I've never given my opinion on it. The entire arcs are free controversy. Oh my goodness. Okay. So this controversy came up a while ago. If you remember and you're watching, drop in the comments to let me know when this happened originally, because I forget when it started. But the controversy basically started like this. There was somebody who, for some reason, was charging for arcs, and it came about through, I want to say it was like asking for donations to be one of her advanced readers. Anyway, ARC stands for Advanced Reader Copy. So an advanced reader copy, I'm saying this as both a writer who uses advanced readers and as an advanced reader, those should be free. That is literally the #1 perk of being an advanced reader. You get the book, some of which I have behind me on these shelves actually. You get the book for free. You give them your feedback and your opinion on the book. That's your payment. That's the way you pay for the art, by giving your feedback, your review, and your honest opinion. If an author asks you to pay for an ARC, don't do it. If you want that book bad enough, wait till the actual copy comes out and buy it. Heck, pre-order it. That would be helpful to them. Please don't pay to be someone's advanced reader. On the other side of that, if you are looking to break into advanced reading, there are a ton of websites who would never charge you for that. So check out, some of them are linked in my book review page on my website, because I work with NetGalley and BookBub and places like that. You can also just go to the Twitter writing community and shout out that you're willing to be an advanced reader, and I'm sure you'd find tons of people. But don't pay for them. They should be free. That's my opinion. Woo! All right, let's keep going. Look, I got 2 right away that I was like, ah, people are opinionated. Okay. Oh, okay, so this one is reading in all genres. So the controversy surrounding this one, if I understand it by the person who contributed this, is whether or not authors should be reading in every genre. So the controversy, the way it stands, is basically there's 3 levels of this, right? So there's people who say it doesn't matter, you don't need to read. There's people who say you need to be soaking up everything in your genre, but only your genre. And then there's the you should be reading in every genre camp. Now, if you've ever watched one of my book review videos, I'm gonna bet you already know where I stand on this. I think authors should be reading everything in every genre that we can get our hands on. So why do I think that? I think that because we don't just put aspects of, for example, young adult fantasy into our young adult fantasy. I pull in aspects, people have told me I have aspects of adult fantasy in mind. People have told me I have science fantasy, science fiction. I have, some of it's treading on historical fiction stuff. Some of it has mystery thriller elements to it. So basically, if you don't understand what's going on in all of the genres, you don't even really know if what you're doing is truly what you think you're doing. So you could be writing science fiction, for example, but everybody else who reads it could go, what are you talking about? This is a thriller. You need to make sure that you're reading in every genre. Not only that, but we learn stuff about character development and tools that exist by reading in genres outside of our own. I am a big believer in the idea that writers have to do 2 things to be a good writer. Write a lot and read a lot. And yes, I believe we should be reading in every genre. But that's just my opinion. Okay. Happily ever after endings. If you watch this channel, you may already have a hint at my opinion. If you've read one of my books, you may already have a hint of my opinion. Okay, so here's the controversy. And usually it surrounds, or it began, I should say, in the romance genre. So there is a camp of people who believe that your book, in order to be worth their time to read, must have a happily ever after ending. It must have an ending where everything's wrapped up nicely and everyone is happy and things are good. And the idea behind that is that real life stinks, right? And we want to read books that don't. The other side of that camp is, of course, that books should mirror real life and that happily ever after endings are garbage and that we shouldn't be writing them at all. Where do I stand on these 2 issues? Look, if I'm writing them, you're probably not getting your happily ever after. I'm just saying, I am of the belief that in real life and in books, you don't know. This is not the end of the story. Even if it's the end of the story for that character, it is not the end of the story for the other people in that story. I am not a huge fan of happily ever after. I'm okay with happily for now endings. I'm okay with including things that wrap it up nicely and you get a, oh, they're so happy right now, which we see a lot of in young adult romance. But I'm not a big fan of this is the end of our story, put a bow on it, happily ever after. As you would know if you've read one of my books. In fact, most of the time when I review books, that actually bugs me when it has a happily ever after ending. I don't find them realistic and believable because real life is messy and it keeps going. So that's probably my saltiest, most controversial opinion. I don't love happily ever after endings. Give me a happy for now or give me a realistic, but don't try to convince me their story ended right now and their life is perfect. That's my opinion. Writing tropes. So this one came from Twitter, and the way the person who pointed it out to me said it was, as writers, do we intentionally avoid including tropes, or do we include them? So I did a whole video where I talked about some reading tropes that I think are dead, that I think we should change up, and that sort of is part of my answer. So as writers, do I think that we should be aware of all writing tropes and avoid them at all costs? Obviously, no. Breaking Iselda and Redeeming Jordan arguably have sort of a love triangle thing going on, so I obviously don't think we should avoid all writing tropes. What I do think is that whenever possible, I think it's really cool when authors take a trope and they spin it just a little. I recently read a book and reviewed it where I talked about the reason why I thought it was so cool is because the author took that chosen one trope that we normally see in young adult books, and normally it's a teenager, and put it in an adult. They were a chosen one developing and learning, and I thought that was a really cool way to twist it. So I love when writers take a trope that we see all the time and twist it just a little to make it something a little different than we've seen before. So I am a fan of writing tropes. I think go ahead and include them. I think do it intentionally though. Be aware that it's a trope. Be aware that it's a thing that you've seen before in literature, and do it on purpose and do it in a way that makes your book a little different. So do I think you should avoid them? No. And I'm going to be honest, I still read them. Give me enemies to lovers all days, friends, because I love that trope. Oh, tweeting book advertisements. Okay, so here's the controversy. Are you annoying if, as an author, you regularly tweet out one-page cute little advertisements? I should mention I have some for my books. I have cute little one-page advertisements for my books. So where this controversy comes from, we don't mean tweeting them at all, because the people who say that they're annoyed by it, they are not talking about the people. Okay, so there are people on Twitter who will say, hey, send me your book, and then you reply to that with a book advert. That's not what we mean. That's cool. So the ones we're talking about are the people who regularly tweet out with nobody asking, here's an advertisement, here's an advertisement, here's an advertisement, right? So here's my opinion on that, and I have literally never weighed in on this before. Remember I said, I'm not attacking you. Please don't be offended. Okay, so if you're tweeting it out once a week, twice a week, whatever, I don't really have a problem with that. I don't care. I see them on my feed and I'm like, oh, hey, cool. If it's a book I've read, I'll probably like it. Or if it's a book on my TBR, I'll probably like it. That's cool. That's what's drew me into it. If it's a new advertisement, catches my eye, again, I'll probably like it. I very rarely retweet them. In fact, I'm not sure if I ever have. Here's when they annoy me. If I check Twitter, let's say twice a day, and every time I check it, there's a new advertisement for your book, that's annoying. There was an account recently that I realized I was following, right? So I'm scrolling through and I see an advertisement for their book. And I'm like, okay, cool. Scroll a little further, there's another one. Huh. Again. So I clicked on their name. Their entire Twitter for the last 3 days was only retweets of their book advertisement. Nothing else. Literally nothing else. Friend, you're annoying. Yeah, I unsubscribed. I'm serious. I unfollowed this person because that's annoying. I want content of yours besides, hey, buy my book. So interact with readers, talk about your book, talk about what's happening with your book. I'm okay with all of that. Occasionally tweet out an advertisement. I'm cool with that. I might even be somebody who likes it. But oh goodness, friends, please include something else on your Twitter besides commercials and advertisements for your book. So that's my opinion. Okay, I'm calling it quits. That's it for me. I did say there were 16 topics and I only pulled 6. So who knows? If you like this video, let me know, because maybe someday we'll do it again. Please remember, all 16 topics are in the comments. So if you feel like tackling bookish controversies yourself on your channel, feel free to take as many of those as you want. Be braver than me. Do all 16. Go for it. For now, please drop a comment letting me know your opinions or that you're still here. Hit subscribe and tap that little bell so you know when I'm back. Keep plotting the path to your own dreams, and I will see you next time. Bye! I'm sorry, friends. He's been trying so hard to get in this video, he had to come say hi. He has bookish opinions, too. He once ate a book. He thinks they're yummy. He's not allowed near them anymore. That's his opinion. You're a